Good afternoon and welcome to yet another episode of Mr. Long Island's Search for Truth and Beauty, the internet program where we search for truth and beauty, truth being issues that, and again, it's search for truth and the camera that's working. Thank you. Which camera am I looking at here? There you go. All right. How you doing, folks? My name is Michael Watt, aka Mr. Long Island, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Long Island's Search for Truth and Beauty, the internet program where we search for truth, which is issues that need to be discussed about life on Long Island, and beauty, which is highlighting things that are make this Long Island such a special place to live and work. This week, our guest is Stacy Berkowitz of rockthetreatment.com. Tracy, thank you for being here. And as you can see, we got a little bit of both. We got some truth and some beauty, so we're very excited. What we're going to talk about this week, rockthetreatment.com, gift baskets designed specifically for people undergoing chemotherapy. But before we do anything else, one of the things we love to do on Mr. Long Island's Search for Truth and Beauty is talk about pizza. And the reason for that, Stacy, is as diverse as Long Island is, it's spread out in different parts of the island. Every town on Long Island has one thing in common, it's a pizza place. And every Long Islander has a strong opinion about pizza, and we will drive past a dozen pizza places to get the one we like. And so what we're doing is compiling the greatest database of pizza places on Long Island. So what's your favorite place
Well,
for
I
pizza?
drive past a whole lot of pizza places to go to New Hyde Park, to Eddie's Pizza.
Eddie's Pizza in New Hyde Park.
Home of the bar pie.
Home of the bar pie.
Yes.
Now, if that sounds familiar to the people who watch this program regularly, I should point out that Stacy is the sister of a previous guest, Dawn. Now, there is a caveat here. Now, who discovered Eddie's Pizza?
I did. I was working in the area at the time, many years ago, probably 15 years ago, and discovered it when I was working there, and I have since gone back. I go back, I buy the very thin crust pizza, like almost to the point where it's like almost a cracker. It's really tasty. So I have been known to go back and buy a few pies to freeze, and so I have my own. And my sister moved from the city, out into Nassau County, so she's not far from there. So when she moved, I turned her on to Eddie's. So
terrific. We love repeat performances because that's a great testimonial. Let's talk about Rock the Treatment. Now, there's a story behind it, I'll let you tell it, but it really is a great example of somebody seeing a situation, thinking beyond the box, and creating a solution. So talk to us a little bit about Rock the Treatment, what you do, how you do it, and what you're looking to do from here.
Well, the idea came about when I was visiting a friend that had recently had a mastectomy, and she was undergoing chemotherapy treatment, and the doorbell rang, and I got the door, and she got a fruit bouquet, and I put it on the counter, and I made a joke. I said, wow, you can start a fruit stand. She had fruit, everywhere. And she got a little somber and a little teary-eyed and asked me if I wanted to take it home. And I thought, what's the matter? And so she started to explain to me how she couldn't eat fruit because the effects from the chemotherapy made her nauseous, so the smell of it made her nauseous, and then the acidity in some of the fruit hurt her mouth because that was also another side effect, is a dry mouth.
So you had people with the best of intentions just wanting to show some kind of gesture of support and love for the person undergoing this terrible process, and that's probably where the frustration came.
Right, and so she was feeling sad because she felt that by not using the items that she was being sent, she was in some way being unappreciative or not gracious.
Right.
And so she felt very guilty. And I thought to myself, this poor woman, I've been guilty of this, and I would feel so terrible to know that I sent something to somebody that is going through one of the most difficult periods of their life.
Right.
Feeling the lousiest they've felt in their life. And on top of all of that, they are now feeling guilty about something that I did that I was trying to do in a good way. And so I went home and I started to search for something that I can get her that I thought would be great. And there was really limited choices. And the few choices that they were, in my opinion, really were very sad. They weren't gifts that I thought would be something to perk her up. It was more of a gift that said, here's something to remind you that you're sick. And I didn't
Exactly,
like
right.
that. So I had a gift basket business for many years, doing, many general things. And I said, you know what? I know how to do this. I could do this better. So I went and I did a lot of research into what kinds of things would be good. And I put together, a basket for her. And I brought it to her, and she was elated.
Okay.
And from there, a friend of hers mother was diagnosed, and they said, hey, what was that basket that you gave to so-and-so? Can you get me one for my mother? And then, it started to roll. And about a year ago, I was downsized from a corporate job that I've been in for a long time. And I thought, I'm going to make a go of this. I'm going to try to do this because it's had such a response, and there's a need for it.
All right, let's get back to, I don't want to forget about that part, but I want to get back to what goes into the basket, because the most important thing is the sender wants the receiver to feel better, or at
Right.
least feel appreciated and know that somebody's thinking of them. And you have a dual effect. If you send a basket of fruit and it's making the receiver nauseous, that's not doing anybody any good,
Right.
despite the best of intentions. So you're looking not necessarily, and you touched on something I thought was really important. It's not something that's going to remind them that they're ill, but in a way either help them deal with it or make them feel a little bit better. Can you walk us through some of the stuff that would go into the gift basket?
Sure. A lot of things are really everyday items that are, innocuous to us. So a big component would be those little red and white peppermint candies that
Okay.
we all see. And why they're in there is because, number one, it helps you with the dry mouth. And peppermint is also a really big help with nausea. So it's the kind of thing that you can throw into your pocket, you can throw into your pocketbook, and it's very helpful in two ways. There's skincare items that are in there that are specifically designed for people going through chemotherapy treatments. So not only does it help moisturize and nourish, it helps put back some of the properties that are being depleted from the medication. Also, there's a special mouthwash that people use for dry mouth. There's just simple puzzle books, because a lot of times chemotherapy is hours, sitting in a room, hours with intravenous. And a lot of times what cancer patients have said is when they're when they're taking the medication, reading is something that they can't focus on the comprehension of digesting what's being read. So, but they want something to keep their mind occupied.
So everything in the basket, the research was done to see what really would walk that fine line between serving a purpose and cheering the recipient up.
Exactly. I spoke to people that have gone through it. I've spoken to medical professionals. I've spoken to caregivers. There's 3 size baskets. I serve for men, women, and children.
Okay.
And there's 3 size baskets, and that's specifically designed so that you can hit whatever price range. If it's just an individual or if it's an office, a lot of times an office wants to send a basket to a coworker. So they're in price ranges that hopefully will fit into everybody's budget.
Let's talk a little bit about the kids' basket, because there's just nothing worse than a child having cancer.
I know.
What kind of products would go into something like that?
So I just recently got a gift basket order for a child, and I called my sister and I was like, I'm nauseous, this is making me, I'm so sad. And her answer to me was, just think you're taking a situation that would have been anyway,
Right.
and you're making it better.
Right.
So for the children, there is an art project. So it's something that is non-gender.
Okay.
It can be either for a boy or a girl. It's not something that would require a parental assistance. It's something that's not a long, involved project. It's something to occupy maybe an hour and a half. So it's just something to keep their mind occupied. There's Queasy Pops, which are all natural lollipops that help with the nausea. There is, for the girls, there's a book that was approved by the American Psychological Association called The Bald-Headed Princess, which is a fabulous book. There's another book that I do that's called Imagine a Rainbow, and it's also from the American Psychological Association that is helping children use imagery to relieve pain and stress. And there's also a portion of the book in the back for parents to help them teach their children how to use imagery. One of my favorite things that are in the children's basket is it looks like a stuffed animal. But it's not a regular stuffed animal. Instead of the stuffing inside, there's a Velcro pouch, and inside of the Velcro is an all-natural grain pouch that can be heated or cooled. So for a child, you can warm it in the microwave and they can relax and snuggle with it at
Wow.
night. It's warm and comforting, but you can also put it in the freezer and you can apply it to maybe some places that they're aching.
So again, a lot of thought and effort and research has gone into what goes into the basket, and there's a comfort level in the terms of the sender, because I'm sure there's also a concern of, well, I don't want to send the wrong thing, or what happens if I send something that offends them or maybe is counterproductive, like the smell of the fruit making the
Correct.
patient nauseous. So there's a comfort level there that I think anyone who goes this route can embrace, and I think that plays an important role as well. And it's also interesting that you're working with the parents so that they can make the most of that basket. I think that's great. Tell us a little bit about the business of rockthetreatment.com. What's involved? How's it going? Are you working with the suppliers? Are they working with you, or where are you at with that?
Yeah, I purchase my items wholesale through many different vendors. I am working on some partnerships with different cancer organizations because I'm very passionate about not only helping the people that are getting the baskets, but also giving back. So a portion of the proceeds of the sales will go to different cancer organizations, and I'm currently working on partnering with some that are near and dear to my heart. I just recently launched the website.
So they would use that as like a fundraiser, or if they order, the ABC Breast Cancer Coalition group, if they go through them, I mean, how does that work?
I can do it two different ways. I've done some fundraisers for the American Cancer Society where I've created like a special coupon code. So anybody that was at an event that we were at, that was an American Cancer Society event, when they purchased a basket, they would enter in that code, and then a portion of the proceeds from that sale would go directly back to that organization. One of the organizations that I'm working with, they're predominantly help children, so it would probably be a portion of the children's proceeds. I'm still working out the details of, how I'm going to, whether it's going to be a quarterly thing to, all the proceeds within that quarter will
Right.
go. But, definitely I have somebody that's doing a Cancer Society walk this weekend that, she's a survivor, and I created a code for her team.
Okay.
So that she's giving out cards, and, if anybody was ordering a basket through, something they found out at her event, then those proceeds for those baskets will be donated to where she designated.
So clearly your heart's in the right spot, and
Yes.
you're obviously looking to develop mutually beneficial relationships with all these groups that are catering to or looking to help men and women who are suffering with this disease. So whatever programs they can come up with, you would certainly explore, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it serves that on this program we've discussed social entrepreneurialism as a new trend in the region and across the country. I think this is a perfect example of creating something that serves a purpose but goes above and beyond, because you're doing something for people that are really that's really necessary, unfortunately, but also serves a function.
Yeah, it's been really gratifying to see. It's a new business. I just started it very recently. The website just launched about 6 months ago,
Okay.
and so it's been really gratifying, the feedback that I've gotten, and the feedback from people that have received baskets has been astounding and definitely humbling. It's really gratifying to help, to help in that way.
Right. And so let's get back to the ingredients, if you will, or the components of the baskets. how do you get them put together? Are you doing it yourself, or how's that going?
Yeah, right now I am chief cook and bottle washer.
Okay.
My parents very graciously gave me the basement to their house. So when I need, my father will be my mail delivery person, and my mom will help me, put together stuff. And, I have a really great family and a fantastic support system. So, when necessary, everybody chips in and helps out.
Now, are the baskets customized on request, or do you have a certain amount of components that you want to put in there?
I do. Right now they're all pre-designed. And I did that for two reasons. The products themselves, because a lot of them are specialized, are, some components are, significantly expensive. And so to control the cost and make it a feasible option for people, to purchase, I've pre-designed them in a way that, I felt that would make that work. I'm working on, offering some type of custom, maybe. I'm just trying to perfect how to do it. Maybe it's, pick 3 of these items, 3 of these items, and 3 of these items. In order to, right now I'm small enough that if somebody wanted to call me,
Right.
and I'd certainly be happy to make them whatever they're looking for. But looking into the future, it's going to have to be hopefully, a little bit more standardized. But it is something that I would like to give people the control to mix and match.
Well, the standardization is important too, because as we alluded to earlier, a big part of the process is that comfort level of knowing that what goes into this basket is really appropriate and beneficial.
Correct.
And maybe what somebody else might think would work, you can say, well, this is really not. This would be counterproductive to what you're trying to do.
Right.
So, sounds like a terrific endeavor. The website again is
www.rockthetreatment.com. Please visit our website, and we also have a Facebook page that you can link to, and visit us also on Pinterest.
terrific. It's a great project, and again, it's part of the things that makes Long Island such a special place to live, work, and raise a family, because you have people like yourself, Stacy, who are willing to put in all that time and effort to really bring comfort and joy to people going through a tough stretch. So I think that's terrific. Thank you very much. And this has been another episode of Mr. Long Island's Search for Truth and Beauty. My name is Michael Watt, aka Mr. Long Island, and I thank you for joining us this afternoon.